Hello, and once again, we have our dear Dr. Parviz Rashwan here today with us to discuss how we should eat. We all know what we should eat, and we're not here to tell you what you should eat. You can choose your veggies, you can choose your meat. It's about how do we put it together for the best results. Thank you for being with us again, Dr. Parviz.
Pleasure, and thank you for having me again. This is a very interesting concept. We eat to nourish our body. So we eat to digest and therefore to absorb. Many people could actually eat good quality food, but when you check them out, you see a lot of nutritional deficiencies in them. So what does that mean? They eat the right food, but they don't absorb. There are reasons for that. As you mentioned earlier, almost everybody talks about what to eat. Eat organic, eat greens, eat fresh, don't eat a lot of meat or whatever. But it seems nobody is talking about how to eat.
Correct.
This is very important. Hopefully today's session will give people enough basic information to be able to control their body reaction to food by following the rules. When you drive, of course, you do your best to follow the rules of driving. By doing so, you definitely minimize the chances of accidents or problems. In everything, there are rules involved, and rules apply to everybody. Here today, let's talk about the rules of eating. We call it the rules of stomach. As a part of my education to most of my clients, when I realized they are compromising their digestive function by doing wrong habits. The session today is basically to talk about that.
Correct.
Should I just go on, or you have anything to ask
No,
first?
absolutely, because I feel it myself. There's times where if I have a very rushed day and I'm just picking up food here and there, and for example, I'm sure you'll go into this, I don't have the ritual or the routine. I feel for me, it's all about routine. Whether we talk about sleep or whether we talk about food, if we keep the proper routine, and of course we're going to learn from you how to put it together in those routine times, we'll get the best results, Dr. Parviz.
We improve the result, sure.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to get the best, but we'll definitely improve it. Imagine you are very hungry. Now, two scenarios I want to mention. Scenario number one. You can eat as much as you want of very high quality vegetables and salad, organic, freshly grown, no pesticide, no herbicide. Eat as much as you can until you become completely satiated. Now, how long are you going to feel satiated for that? Probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes. A little bit later, then you feel, oh my God, I'm hungry again. I need some food. Because all the volume of salad and vegetable you consume has already exited your stomach, at least to a large part. Whereas in scenario number two, you decide to eat a whole roasted, free-range, organic, unbelievably delicious and clean chicken, for example. Now, how long are you going to be satiated here now for? Probably hours. For hours, you don't feel hungry anymore because the food you consume stays in the organ of the stomach. If you look at the digestive system from the top, which is the mouth, all the way to the end, there are so many different components involved. You have the mouth, the tube that connects the mouth to the stomach itself, and then the small intestine, which is divided into three different parts. And then we have the large intestine with all its structure at the bottom. Each one of these components are designed to do certain functions. Like what you could do with your mouth in terms of eating, you can never do it with the rest of your digestive system. Or let's say what your small intestine does cannot be done by the rest of the digestive system. This applies to stomach too. So stomach is a storage for food. Not only that, because of the acid and pepsin, which is an enzyme to open up protein molecules, which usually are like long threads wrapped around itself in different formats. There is no other part in the digestive system which becomes as efficient and capable of digesting protein as the organ of stomach. So we need a strong stomach acid for our digestion. If we drink a lot of water while we are eating, what will happen to the concentration of the stomach acid and stomach juice?
Dilution.
Bravo! In a healthy condition, if you extract the entire digestive juice of the stomach of a, let's say, 25-year-old healthy grown-up male, which includes, as I said, enzymes, acid, and a bunch of other stuff, the pH is about probably roughly 2.5. It's very, very acidic. If you put that in a glass, it's almost about a glass, maybe a little less from that person. Now, if you put your finger in it, 1, 2, 3, it burns. Suddenly, you have to pull it out because it's strong acid. Now, imagine you dump another 2 glasses of liquid on the top of it and you put your finger back in there.
Yeah,
it's not going to burn that fast. So, drinking a lot of fluid while we are eating will definitely compromise the power of digestion
Absorption.
in us, you see?
So there's a time before we eat and after we're done eating that we should avoid drinking
I'll
fluids.
talk about this in a second, but you said absorption. Absorption will only happen when the digestion is complete. Because if you look at the body of microbes, bacteria, fungi, parasite, you see fat, protein, and carbs. What do we see in our food as major components of food? Fat, protein, and carbs. So at the time of absorption, what is it that makes the body realize that this is food and is not a microbe? Because if it is a microbe, the body is under attack, then the immune system will respond. In order to have food extract absorbed, the digestive system has to break down the food component to the basic elements. Protein becomes amino acids. Fat becomes essential fats or fatty acids.
Fatty acids.
Carbs become glucose. Yeah? That is how a single molecule can pass through the wall of the small intestine in order to be considered as food. If 2 pieces are attached to each other, it becomes disaccharide or dipeptide. Now the body thinks, there is a microbial entity coming through the immune system, which is waiting the soldiers in the other side of this intestinal lumen. Will start attacking it to destroy it. No intruders are allowed to come in.
True.
If we cannot digest, then we cannot absorb. The biggest problem is not just the nutritional deficiencies that will happen as a consequence of this later on in life, but also it becomes toxin to our body, something that becomes a burden to our body. It is passing through, but without being treated properly. And another problem is that now these undigested food particles at any scales remains as food for the microbes which are preoccupying the entire lumen of our digestive system. These microbes are friendly when their environment is balanced. The moment the environment is changed, they become unhappy. In this case, they leave their essential work, they go towards the remaining food and start scavenging on that. Now, the shape of the microbes start to change. They produce more acid, they produce more inflammatory material, and the microbes now become pathogen. They become, in
work
an
against
ugly
us.
way, working against our health now. The same guys who used to be our friends.
I can imagine this. I'm
You
imagining
see?
this. Yes.
This is
this
easy.
what leads to leaky gut syndrome? That so many. I mean, it's a name, I think, because they don't know exactly what's happening.
Exactly, true.
Again, they're putting a
Many
name.
people overuse these kind of words. Leaky gut. If you remember the anatomy of mucous membrane of the digestive system, the cells are attached to each other called tight junctions like this. There is no hole in between the cells. They are completely attached because nothing is supposed to pass through between the cells. It has to be absorbed by the cell and released from the other side to enter the internal part of our body, because inside the digestive lumen is still considered as the outside environment of our body. Okay, whatever passes through. Now, due to long-term inflammation, toxic or microbial invasion, anything that damages the structure, the microstructure of our cells, because of inflammation, now these cells start to create a little bit of a space in between. Now those undigested particles
Go through.
can now pass through this space and now They create a leaky gut syndrome, which creates a lot of other problems, including a lot of skin problems, a lot of organ malfunctions, a lot of toxicity overall the body, and
Brain
many,
fog.
many other things. Brain fog is when the fluid of the body, which is surrounding the cells, are full of toxins. Yeah, is not clear, is not clean. The liver has lost the ability to efficiently clean up, or the importation or manufacturing of the toxins exceeds the power of cleaning. Yeah, so toxins start to build up. Now we have an environment around the cells which is dirty and polluted. No cell will ever feel comfortable with that. Not only
Absolutely.
that, they become deprived of receiving fresh food particles, oxygen, or removal of the waste properly. This creates foggy, not just in the brain, everywhere, but because brain is
Yes.
active and
Yes.
conscious part
We
of the
noticed
body.
that
And
one, yes.
yeah, you
And
see
a lot
it
of people
more.
are unfortunately dealing with brain fog. Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Anyways, there are rules involved.
So you
when
said
it
the
comes
stomach
to
is the most
eating.
important.
The stomach is
And
the
I always thought,
storage.
because my mom said, chew your food 40 times before you swallow it. So it all starts with the mouth, obviously.
100%, yes. Because by chewing, you make the food so easy to digest further on, because you crush them into very small particles. Not only that, the saliva contains a lot of initial enzymes required to start the digestion. So when saliva is mixed with the food properly, it's going to be a lot easier for that food to be digested passing through the lumen. People who don't chew and they eat fast, they
Yes.
take away that chance from a
Absolutely.
better and more efficient quality digestion.
Correct.
Yes.
So never eat on the rush, or, try to just fit in your food between doing a million other things.
There is one more
this is a
miracle
ritual.
that happens to people if they get used to it chewing 40 times, which I'm going to explain it to you a bit later.
Okay.
So let's talk
Excellent.
about the rules of eating.
Yes.
Okay. Whether you are a vegetarian or you are a meat eater or whatever it is, these rules are applied to everybody. As I mentioned earlier, at the time of eating, the body has to become ready physiologically for this. When you feel hungry, it's lunchtime. At that moment, the highest quality digestive juices are produced in your system. The extra water is extracted and the temperature is raised. So you are looking at a very concentrated and warm juice waiting for the food to come. And then suddenly you drink a glass of water before you start your meal, because they say water is good. Then you wash it off, you wash it away, you dilute this. Or imagine you put your tuna on the top of a big salad and you eat it. The salad, anything green, has magnesium. Magnesium is an alkaline metal, element, let's say. In the stomach, we need high acidity. If there is a lot of alkaline causing elements in that food, in that portion that you take, you compromise your stomach juice. This is number one. Number two, when you are very hungry and you eat a lot of vegetables, as I said, you feel full for about 15-20 minutes, because immediately the pH of the stomach is changed and the pylorus, which is the second door of stomach, starts to open, because change in the pH, reducing the intensity of the acid, is a signal to the system that, okay, it's time for the food to go out. So stomach opens, and with 1-2 spasm, little pieces at a time will pass through, entering the small intestine.
Interesting.
Now, if there is a lot of meat with that big vegetable size involved in that, exists in that stomach, at that moment, the pieces of meat also starts to go out, because the door is open and everything is mixed. The meat which is not yet ready to go out. Yeah.
Correct.
So this will.
So we're visualizing
through.
a plate of a lot of salad with the protein.
Exactly.
This is what you're mentioning. Okay.
So it's not going to be a good idea. Now, occasionally, once in a while, absolutely no problem. We're talking about habits.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the other problem I see is that a lot of trainers in the gyms or nutritional advisors or dietitians don't mention these things properly to people. They may give a diet to everybody. Okay, keto is good. Everybody should go on keto. Avoid this. This is not going to happen. It's not going to have the same impact on everybody. You have to understand the constitution of a person. what kind of person he or she is and what suits that person the best.
Correct.
So not every formula works for everybody. Plus, we have we can categorize people in terms of what is good for them to eat or to avoid based on their blood type. It doesn't apply again to 100% of the people,
Absolutely.
but mostly it gives a lot of good ideas. Yeah?
Correct.
Now,
I had a personal experience with this. I tried to be a vegetarian myself, and I felt like I was diminishing into nothing. So I went back. I went back to my meat and chicken, and I feel a whole lot better.
absolutely.
So it's knowing yourself,
Exactly.
not following a trend.
Exactly. So a lot of people drink coffee, a lot of it, or tea right after meals. This is not going to be good either. Not only do they also affect the quality of stomach juice, but also they may cause protein molecules to shrink into themselves. It's going to be difficult for them to open in order to be ready to be digested. Yeah. Many people drink milk. You see, especially in American culture,
Yes.
they have a burger, especially
Glass
children,
of
get a
milk,
big,
yes.
big glass of milk like this.
Yes.
This is absolutely not good for many different scientific reasons. I have a list of items here on a paper that I usually share it with my clients. I'm just going to glance through them so I don't miss anything. Like fruits, fruit juices. What's wrong with fruits? When people eat large protein meals and immediately they take fruits because fruits are very healthy, they actually spoil the food in their stomach as if they have consumed rotten food. Can you imagine?
Oh my gosh.
And then I've seen people who were thinking they were having very healthy eating habit and they developed pancreatic cancer in their early 60s. One of them I know, he was a surgeon. But every time after meals, he used to have a big plate of fruits because he thought it was healthy. He got pancreatic cancer. It's not only because of that, but definitely this is a predisposition factor for that, yeah? You don't want to compromise the quality of the food. You pay a lot for good food nowadays, and then in the stomach, you turn it into rotten food. Now,
Interesting.
it's very important to separate large salads, fruits, fruit juices, melons, or anything like that as separate meals. If you have, let's say, a normal meal and you are a meat eater, for example, with some rice, potato, or some carbs plus some sort of meat, and you want to have salad, it's okay to have a small salad for taste, no problem. But as I said, bigger salads should be separate. It's very important for people to eat on time because when I am used to eating, let's say, lunch around 1 to 2, at that time I have the best quality stomach.
Right.
Juice ready because of my mental preparation.
Yes.
It's lunch time. If I eat an hour later or an hour earlier, then I won't get that good
The maximum
quality.
result. Yes.
The British did actually a very comprehensive study on that, and people who followed this on-time
Routine
eating, they actually lost weight when they were put on good quality food. Whereas the second group, we consumed the same food, but they ate it sporadically, all of them gained weight.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
Sometimes a lot of people eat even if they're not hungry. That's not good. You should eat when you feel hungry. Now, sometimes due to a lot of different reasons, including toxicity of the body, people don't feel if they are hungry. That's a different story. Yeah?
But sometimes there's stress eating, right, Dr. Parviz?
Absolutely.
Or out
Absolutely.
of happiness, or it's just extreme
Comfort
emotions,
eating is
comfort
called,
eating. Yes.
It's very important to take a little bit of a rest after eating and never lie down to fall asleep when you just
Immediately
finish
after.
your food. Yeah, you can sit back, rest a little bit, relax, because you need parasympathetic nervous system, which is couch potato, which is relaxation in order to help your digestive system to function properly. Not the sympathetic, which is go, go, go. Sometimes I drive on the highway, I see somebody on the phone like this here, and they are biting their sandwich and driving. There is no way that the body can absorb anything, regardless of the fact that most of the time these sandwiches are not
You have to be in the moment, even with that, with eating.
That is true.
How about eating and taking a walk afterwards?
as long as, in my opinion, as long as it doesn't compromise your relaxation mode, your parasympathetic nervous system,
So the body
no
can do what it
problem.
does
Yeah.
best.
But rest is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Raw vegetables are the best to be eaten in between big meals. They could be done by themselves, a whole meal, like you can have it as an afternoon meal or early dinner.
Snacks? Can we use those
Whatever
as
it
snacks?
is, yeah?
Okay.
But never when there is additional food in your stomach. And a lot of people are put, even unnecessarily, on various forms of antacids, either to neutralize the stomach acid or to suppress the stomach cells which are responsible for production of stomach acids. Now, imagine somebody has heartburn. It happens more often. I'm not going to go into analyzing why this happens, and it is easy to treat that. But regularly, doctors or pharmaceutical products which are offered to them are about to shut down the stomach acid production. So they take a medication that stops acid production. They feel so much better. Of course, there's no more acid to come up and cause this uncomfortable feeling. But what's going to happen to the food you eat then now? What's going to help the food to be digested when there's no acid? Plus, the same stomach cells that produce stomach acid, they produce another biochemical factors called intrinsic factors. Now, even though they are produced by stomach, they don't do anything there. They pass through the small intestine all the way. At the end of the small intestine, they help the body to absorb vitamin B12, which is a very important component of supporting blood and covers of the nerves. So if we don't absorb enough vitamin B12, we lose the energy out of our blood, and it affects the shape of the red blood cells if it is serious. And at the same time, it predisposes the people's body or nervous system to further break down in life, You remember that the nerves are like electrical wires with a cover around them.
Correct.
That
The
cover is
myelin,
highly made from various forms of B12. So it's not about really what to eat all the time. How to eat is even much more important than that.
Thank you for enlightening us on this. I went through a phase where I was put on antacid, and I picked up, it took a while, that it was a vicious cycle. And thankfully, I got off of that, and now I'm on a much better path. But thank you for this. I think this is a value for all of us. And if you'd like to hear more about this, or to, specify it to yourself and your own needs, do come and see Dr. Parviz, because he can really help. And then it will be a better version. We'll be a better version of ourselves today. Thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, have a lovely week.